And I think what is weird about that, you know, there'll be people who hear that story and they'll be like, that's fantastic, that's amazing, like kid from poor background made a ton of money, that's really, really good. And it is good, and you know, I wouldn't be able to afford to do what I do now if it wasn't for that. But the actual experience of it was like weirdly quite traumatic. I remember seeing, like, if I'd have earned 100 grand, I would have gone home to my parents and be like, I got 100 grand. I would tell my mates I got 100 grand. Yeah, I would have told my girlfriend I got 100 grand. But like 400 grand just seemed like an inhuman amount of money. It felt like the kind of money that you couldn't tell anyone about. I felt like, how can I tell like, I went out and I sat down next to this guy who I used to work, this Scouse guy, and you could see I was upset, and he said, go out and like sit down. And I remember just thinking, like, I think about my dad, you know what I mean? My dad worked for post office for 35 years, and he was probably never making much more than 20 grand. And he used to start work, he used to leave the house at like 5 a.m. and the train used to go past the back of my house. And my mum would wake me up and we'd try and look at him, like wave at him going past the house. And obviously that's dark, you know, you see him and you think about how hard he worked day after day after day for 20 grand a year. And then here's me, just turned 23, sit at a desk, you know, for a year, 400 grand. It just seemed like,
you were all of a sudden different to everybody you knew, right?
Yeah,
You're sort of disconnected to them.
Exactly. It's that is 100 grand is like a gift. 400 grand like buys you out of your family, buys you out of your friend group. I remember like I went around my mate's house and we were playing like Pro Evo, and they were all talking. Like, a lot of them worked in finance. Oh, did you get a bonus? Oh yeah, I got 5 grand. Oh yeah, I got like 7 grand. And then one of them said, did you get a bonus? And I hadn't told anyone. And I just thought, you know what? These are like my closest friends. I'm just going to fucking tell them, right? So I told them, oh yeah, I got 395 grand. And you could just like hear like the silence, like fill the room of this like shock. And it was almost, and then it started to feel like a cruel thing to tell people in a weird way. I made this amount of money.